welcome to this week's video. I have a lot to cover in this video today, and I'm trying to keep my brain organized. But last week we kind of did a TBR intervention where I counted all of my books, all my physical TBR, and it was embarrassing. It was like 56 or something like that. Interventions are great. It was like a little public humiliation ritual to try and kick my butt into gear, but they do nothing if you don't have a plan. To make a plan, I was sitting back and I was wondering, like, how do I go from reading 62 books in a year to reading 3 books in 6 months? Like, how does that happen? What happened? And it's the same thing that stopped me from reading for a couple of years through high school, and everybody's gonna be sick hearing it, but it is my phone. Like, I use my phone for a lot. I use it for writing, I use it for editing, use it for filming my videos and editing my videos, etc. I use my phone constantly, and I'm not trying to demonize phone use. I'm not trying to demonize anything. I'm not trying to say, like, oh my god, you're worse if you spend this much time on your phone. But I know that I am specifically talking about my screen time on TikTok. So over the past month, my screen time has averaged 6 hours a day, and weekly, I'm spending anywhere between a full day to a day and a half on TikTok. Let that sink in for a second. I'm spending a full day of my week on TikTok. Now, why am I admitting this to the world? Because if I'm going to talk about my plan to get out of that, I have to admit that it's a problem. I did a lot of work in early 2025 breaking my phone addiction, and she came back with a vengeance. But that's how addictions work. You're always going to be fighting them. So this is episode 1 of Tackling Our TBR, because I know I'm not the only person that has dealt with this out there, and I know that it is just a constant thing in this current digital age where short form content is so present in our lives. And I don't know, I feel like I have a lot of fun following along with challenges and like seeing people that are going through the same thing as me. So I thought I'd share my journey and invite you guys to join along or just watch me try and overcome this, because it's been a big challenge for me for the last few years. I mean, I'm 21 and social media has been a major part of my life since I was 15. So there's just a lot to unpack. But basically, in Tackling Our TBR, I'm going to read one book every week until the end of 2026. Hopefully, if I stay on track, that means that I should get from 56 books on my physical TBR down to 29. So that's almost halfway through them, which would be great. I'd feel a lot better about myself. And I'd be starting 2027 with less books on my physical TBR than I started 2026 with, because at the beginning of 2026, I think I had 36 books on my physical TBR. So, very excited. How these videos are going to work is going to be me kind of talking about the books that I'm reading and giving a review when I'm done. Also doing little reading vlogs through the week, like I just filmed me reading the first chapter of this week's book. And you can follow along. You can read 1 book a week, or 2 books, or 3 books a week if you're a faster reader than me or have more time. Or you can read 1 book every 2 weeks or 1 book every month, whatever works for you. There is no golden number of how many books you should be reading in a year or anything like that. The only reason I'm being so hard on myself is because I know that I enjoy spending my time reading, and I know that I can read more than I currently am. I'm so excited to bring you guys with me for this journey and to talk about all the books that I'm reading. This is also a great way for me to kill time while I'm waiting to be able to edit the first draft of my novel. And I think I'm good at habit stacking instead of just trying to completely get rid of TikTok out of my daily routine. So I was breaking my habits a little bit by, sitting down to write for X amount of hours every day, and by adding reading into the mix. So I'm going to start reading again. I can read for a while and then I can edit for a while. And hopefully we can at least get TikTok down to like, I'd be happy if it was down to 2 hours a day. That would still be like 14 hours total week, but I can live with that. I can live with 14 hours. Honestly, even if it doesn't go down at all, I can live with it as long as I'm reading more, because that time I spend on TikTok doom scrolling, I'm not enjoying myself. It's not feeding my creativity. If anything, I feel like I'm losing that ability through doom scrolling. So, and reading historically has helped me get out of that. Reading has always made me more creative, it's made me more empathetic, it's made me a better writer. So at least if I can kind of balance it out, balance scales. Because right now, reading is all the way down here. Like, hold on, reading's down here, and TikTok is all the way up here. So we're just kind of even them out a little bit. Um, but yeah, I'm so excited to bring you guys along for this week's vlog. And follow me on Fable if you'd like, so you can see what I'm reading and I can see what you guys are reading. And yeah, keep an eye on my TikTok, on my Substack. I'm going to be talking about this stuff daily. And leave a comment down below for any book recommendations you have when I'm done with tackling my TBR. Okay, midweek check-in for this kind of reading vlog and tackling our TBR. Midweek check-in for tackling our TBR. I finished Queenie on the first day, or the second day, I can't remember. Wednesday or Thursday. I finished Queenie really, really fast. I was off, so that makes sense because I had more time. Today, I work. It's Saturday, by the way, so it's been a few days. I've been reading a bit every day, and I started Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab, so we're on our second book of the week, actually. But this one is longer, and it's taking a little bit longer to read. Today, I'm challenging myself to replace all of my scrolling time with reading time on my Kindle. So usually I scroll on my phone for like an hour before I go to work. Today I read for an hour and I read about 50 pages. I'm about 35% of the way through, so I've been reading like 20 to 50 pages here and there. I'm going to read on all my breaks today, and then I'll see what I end up doing after work, because I did also pick up the printed copy of my first draft, so I might end up editing later instead of reading. We'll see. Good morning, guys, and happy Wednesday. Let's go ahead and go over our stats for this week of tackling our TBR. So, I started this week very optimistic, and I had Scout select a book for me. He selected Queenie, and I finished Queenie in 2 days. I started it on the Wednesday I started filming, and then I finished it Thursday night. I can't even put into words. It's been so long since I've been able to enjoy a literary fiction book, which is crazy because that's usually my favorite genre, but I was just in the worst slump and I had a lot going on in my life, so reading about people going through stuff was not taking the cake for me. Queenie was so beautiful and raw, it actually made my chest ache. Like, my chest hurt for her. And that is, that doesn't make, I don't, a lot of people don't understand how that can be enjoyable, but I feel my empathy and my knowledge expanding, and I can see myself and people I love in book characters. So when Queenie's sitting there struggling with her panic attacks, I don't just see Queenie, I see my loved ones who have gone through similar things. It was one of the most real depictions of anxiety I've ever seen, and also one of the most beautiful depictions of friendship, the different kinds of friends that you have, what it looks like to try and unite all of your individual friendships, and the connection with your family and how important their support can be when you're going through something that's messing with you so mentally. And it was just beautiful. I mean, I don't really have great words. I haven't sat down to write a review or anything yet because this week was really, really busy for me. But I'm sure I'll have one up on my Substack in the sometime in this next month, when I actually sit down to put all my thoughts into words. All I can say is Candace Carty-Williams did an amazing job, and I cannot wait to go out and find more of her books. I wish I could do it right now and that I wasn't committed to this book buying ban and tackling my TBR, but it's okay because I'm gonna keep up the momentum, and we'll be able to buy books again before I know it. So, you're probably wondering, okay, well, if you finish your book on day 2, the heck have you been doing all week? Rest assured, I started reading another book, because if I can finish 2 books in a week, why shouldn't I? Now, I did not finish a second book, but I did start 2 more. First, we started Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. This was Scout's pick for me after I finished Queenie, and I'm about 35% of the way through. It's such a haunting, beautiful sapphic narrative. It's a vampire book, and it's been so long since I've read a sapphic book because a lot of authors go about it in a way that makes it feel very fetishizy and weird, and as a sapphic woman, that's really frustrating. However, I trust V.E. Schwab with my life and with my books, And if she says that she's going to write a sapphic vampire book, then I trust it. So we're reading it. It's really good so far. The narrators are all very interesting. One thing I'm loving about one of the narrators is she is very selfish, and I love me a selfish woman. Just like in Victoria Aveyard's Realmbreaker series, I'm sorry, not sorry, but I loved Erida because it's so nice to see a complex, not good person that's a female. Like, people don't write them very well, and in this new day and age, we're starting to see them a bit more. So I'm loving the complexity of the characters. I love that they're a bit selfish. I love that they take what they want, and I'm excited to see where the story goes. I'm hoping that it continues. Like, so far we're 35% of the way through, and it's just the way that they're all written is so amazing, and I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm hoping I don't cry. I did cry 4 times while reading Queenie, one of which during the first chapter, and I'm kind of hoping I don't have that experience, but every book I've ever read by Vicky Schwab has made me cry, so we'll see. Finally, I started my second summer semester, which means I'm taking 2 7-week-long courses, and I'm an English major. Who's surprised? So they're literature courses. Obviously, lots of reading is happening. One of my classes, they've assigned 3 books, and I started the first one, which is The Sirens of Titan by Kurt Vonnegut. I'm 1 chapter in. It's only 12 chapters. I'm definitely going to finish this weekend because I need to be done soon so I can start all of the reading responses and whatnot. So far, it's I'm really enjoying it. I've always really enjoyed like postmodernist novels from like anywhere between the 1960s to the 1980s. Um, and so I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm only a chapter in. I like the characters. I think they're interesting. I do wish that there was just more than like men, but it's kind of par for the time, you know? So I'm excited. I'll keep you guys updated, and I'll share a little bit more about school as I go through because obviously my school life and my reading life are very intertwined. They're like this. So there's not going to be any challenge getting a book a week done. However, with classes, it means that I might not always be reading a book for my TBR. So I might not make as much progress as I wanted to by the end of the year, but it's okay. I'm still reading, and that's really the overall goal. Like, yes, I'd love to get my physical TBR from 56 down to 29, but really this is about my attention span and finding time for the things that I love and breaking away from my screen addiction. On to that portion of the video. We talked a little bit when I made the intro to this video about how this series is not about demonizing screen time or demonizing anything like that. It's about me and my relationship with my creativity, with myself, with my hobbies. And I know myself. I know when I spend X amount of hours a day scrolling on TikTok, I don't feel good. It just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good for me. I always regret it, and I always feel miserable. And some of the worst times of my life have been identified by my screen time. When I'm spending 14 to 16 hours a day on my phone, it's like, okay, well, we understand. Like, yeah, we see your mental declining. So this challenge, I just want to reiterate again, is not about how many books you should be reading. Whatever you want to read is what you want to read, and that's perfect for you. Some people only read 4 books a year, and that is perfect for them, and that's amazing. I love to read, so I want to read as many books as I possibly can in the short time that I have on this earth. And I also don't like scrolling on TikTok. So we're not even just looking at screen time, because I do a lot of stuff on my phone. I do schoolwork, I read on my phone, I FaceTime my family, I edit videos, etc. I'm not talking about that time. I'm talking about TikTok screen time. That's it. So I went ahead and looked at my weekly averages and totals for TikTok over the past 3 weeks. The week before we started Tackle Our TBR, I had 34 hours recorded on TikTok. Everybody laugh at the loser, let that sink in. That's literally like a day and a half of my life that I spent on TikTok in 1 week. 1 week. That's insane. That's crazy. I think about everything I could be doing and how I'd be a lot less stressed if I'd started editing, if I'd done some cleaning, if I'd read anything. Like, I would be. So anyway, let's not get mad. Let's not get upset with ourselves. That's not what this is about, because we're making the changes. Last week, when I started Tackle Our TBR, we got down to 26 hours. So, still a full day, but there is improvement, and I'm hoping to continue to see that number slope down. I'm actually gonna make a graph and everything in my slides app to show you guys as we get further into this challenge, but I am very pleased with that decrease and I hope it continues. I'm gonna really work on continuing it. I am super duper busy, so I mean, even if it's not because of reading, I do see my screen time decreasing because I work full time, I go to school full time, and I'm writing my book. So thank you so much for watching episode 1 of Tackle Our TBR. Keep an eye out on my TikTok and my Substack for more content related to this series. I'll be posting my book reviews up on Substack and also little notes of like my thoughts, current thoughts on the books that I am reading. And I post on TikTok every single day about reading, about writing, about lifestyle, all the things. So check me out there. I'm Chloe's Chapters on all platforms. And I'm excited to see you guys next week. Hopefully I can finish. I know for sure that I'm gonna finish The Sirens of Titan. I'm just really hoping I can also finish Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. But we'll see. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and let me know in the comments down below what you've been reading to join along with us.